The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. Habits shape our lives in ways far deeper than we often realize. They are present in almost everything we do. The way we brush our teeth in the morning, the route we take to work, how we handle stress, or even the way we spend our money. Charles Duhigg, in his best-selling book, The Power of Habit, reveals that by understanding how habits are formed and how they work, we can transform not only our personal lives, but also businesses, organizations, and even entire societies. The habit loop. At the heart of this book lies a simple yet powerful discovery. Every habit, no matter how big or small, follows a three-step loop. This is called a habit loop, and it's made up of three elements: the cue, the routine, and the reward. The cue is the trigger that sparks the habit. It could be the sound of an alarm clock, a moment of boredom, or even a smell that reminds you of something. The routine is the behavior itself, the action you automatically perform. And the reward is the benefit your brain receives from the behavior, the payoff that teaches your brain to repeat the same cycle again in the future. A powerful historical example Duhigg highlights is the rise of toothbrushing in the United States. In the early 1900s, very few Americans brushed their teeth daily. But when the toothpaste brand Pepsodent launched its advertising campaign, they cleverly linked the cue, the unpleasant film you feel on your teeth, to the routine brushing, and the reward, a fresh, clean, tingling mouth. This triggered a nationwide shift in behavior, and within a few years, brushing teeth became a daily automatic habit for millions of people. This shows how understanding a habit loop gives us the ability to reshape behaviors that might otherwise feel uncontrollable. How to change a habit. Now comes the part most people want to know. How do we actually change a habit? Duhigg's research shows that you don't need to completely erase a bad habit. You just need to reprogram it. The secret lies in keeping the cue and the reward, but changing the routine. For example, imagine someone who eats a sugary snack every afternoon. The cue might be boredom or fatigue at work, and the reward is the quick pleasure and energy boost from sugar. Instead of eliminating the habit, the person can simply swap the routine. Instead of grabbing a candy bar, they could go for a short walk, stretch, or chat with a colleague. The cue stays the same. The reward is still there, but the routine is replaced with something healthier. Over time, the brain rewires itself, and the new habit becomes automatic. Keystone habits. Among all habits, there are a few that are especially powerful. Duhigg calls them keystone habits. Habits that, once changed, trigger a ripple effect across other areas of life. Take exercise as an example. Studies show that when people begin exercising regularly, even in small doses, other positive changes follow almost automatically. They start eating healthier, sleeping better, becoming more productive at work, and even saving money. By focusing on one single habit, the entire lifestyle can be transformed. In the business world, one of the most famous examples comes from the company Alcoa. When Paul O'Neill became CEO, instead of focusing on profits or productivity, he decided to make worker safety the company's top priority. At first, investors thought he was crazy, but this single keystone habit changed everything. Improving safety forced better communication, discipline, and efficiency across the company. The result? Not only did accidents decrease dramatically, but Alcoa's profits skyrocketed. The role of belief. But here's something crucial. Understanding a habit loop and swapping routines isn't always enough. Belief is essential for sustaining long-term change. This is why support groups like Alcoholics Anonymous are so effective. They don't just teach people to replace drinking with new routines. They also create a powerful sense of community, and most importantly, they build a belief that change is truly possible. Without belief, habits tend to break down under stress. With belief, they become unshakable. The power of small wins. Another key idea in the book is the importance of small wins. Too often, people think they need a massive overhaul to change their lives. But research shows that real transformation usually comes from small, consistent victories. Something as simple as making your bed every morning can set off a chain reaction. That small win leads to a greater sense of order, which builds discipline, which then makes it easy to take on bigger goals. Over time, these small wins accumulate into massive change. The environment and social triggers. It's also important to recognize the role of our environment. Habits are not only a product of willpower, they are heavily influenced by the triggers around us. If you're trying to cut down on junk food, simply not buying it or keeping it out of sight can be far more effective than trying to resist temptation when it's right in front of you. Likewise, surrounding yourself with people who share your goals makes change much easier. This is why accountability partners, study groups, or fitness communities often succeed where individual willpower fails. Habits in companies and society. Duhigg also shows how habits shape organizations and entire societies. Take Starbucks, for example. The company discovered that one of the keys to customer satisfaction was teaching employees habits of willpower and self-discipline. By creating systems that help baristas remain calm and polite in stressful situations, Starbucks wasn't just improving service. They were rewiring habits that benefited employees both at work and in their personal lives. Another fascinating case comes from Target. The company famously used customer data to predict shopping habits so accurately that they could identify life changes, like a woman's pregnancy, before her family even knew, simply by analyzing her shopping patterns. This example reveals just how powerful habits are in shaping not only our personal choices, but also entire markets. Willpower is a habit. One of the most striking insights from the book is that willpower itself is a habit. And even more, it's one of the most powerful keystone habits we can develop. When people learn to strengthen their willpower in one area, that discipline tends to spill over into other parts of their lives. For instance, a student who builds a habit of studying consistently doesn't just improve academically. They often become more financially responsible, healthier, and more organized overall. Willpower, in other words, multiplies. Conclusion: the power of habit reveals that habits aren't just conscious choices we make. They're automatic patterns deeply wired into our brains. The good news is that these patterns can be changed. By learning how the habit loop works, identifying keystone habits, celebrating small wins, shaping our environment, and strengthening the habit of willpower, we can unlock enormous potential for change. And when this knowledge is applied not only to individuals, but also to companies and even societies, the results can be transformative. At the end of the day, habits are invisible forces steering our lives. But once we take control of them, we can reshape our destiny. As Duhigg shows, if you change your habits, you truly change your life. If you enjoyed this summary and want to dive deeper into ideas that can transform your mindset, your habits, and ultimately your entire life, make sure to subscribe to The Healing Vibe. Here, we bring you powerful insights from the world's most influential books, all designed to inspire, guide, and uplift you on your journey. Don't forget to hit the like button, leave your thoughts in the comments, and join our community dedicated to growth and positive change.